Mataji, how are you? Good. Prabhuji Raleda? Okay. I hope I am audible, right, for everyone? And you are able to see the screen also? Everyone? Okay. So, I am really thankful for everyone. I think we have got counts of almost 90 now. And eventually, probably the floor might be filled up. So, what are we discussing today? Any idea, any glimpse? What is Srimad Bhagavatam? Have you heard of this word, by the way? Probably whenever I am asking questions, it's mainly focused towards elders only, not for kids. If kids know, they can answer also, not a problem. So, yeah, tell me. That's what. That was my next question. Most of the people are having an impression that Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are same. Am I right? Right? But it is not right. Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are two different scriptures. Bhagavad Gita was spoken at a urgency, Arjuna was there in a middle of a war and he was in full confusion. And that's where Bhagavad Gita was spoken. And do you know approximately for how much time it was spoken? It is something like, when you are having an exam, next day you are having an exam, and we don't know what to do, then you will simply look at the important questions, right? Important questions. Generally it happens, no? At least in my college I used to do that. Whole year we won't study. Only when the unit test is there, before that day, whole night out we will do. Right? On that whole night out we will only study important questions, which are important. We will see last 3 years what questions we got, and then we will try to read them and try to mug up and somehow spit in the exam. That's what we do. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the middle of a war, and the time domain was stopped for almost 1.5 hours. Can you believe it? Do you know this or not? Or is it something new? Huh? Yeah. So Bhagavad Gita was spoken, and it is basically a rule book on to clear the confusion of Arjuna. Probably chairs are there. I'm just thinking better to keep it checked out. So Bhagavad Gita is basically a rule book, and Srimad Bhagavatam is something like when some rules are coined in school or college, when you will follow. Generally our tendency is not to follow, but you will follow when someone is following. When initially Corona attacked, no one was interested in wearing masks, right? But after some people were wearing masks and some people imposed to wear masks, then we started. But from very day one, were we interested to wear mask? No, right? Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is a scripture where it is shown sweet exchanges between the Lord and the devotees, where they have followed this rule book and they have achieved their goal. By the way, what is the goal? What is the goal of life as per scriptures? युद्ध में जो सरहद में अपना जान देश के लिए त्याग देता है, वो ही अल्टीमेट मृत्यु है. जो अपने फ्रेंड के लिए मृत्यु त्याग देता है, वो ही अल्टीमेट मृत्यु है. Is it right? I think someone told the ultimate death, when we sacrifice ourselves for the sake of country, that is the ultimate death. Have you heard this or not? Is it something new I am telling? Have you heard this comment? It is, I think, Manik Shah, I think he was one of the great personalities in defense India. He has quoted similar thing, and most of the times, even in recent movies and all, they say that whatever the death we are getting while fighting for a country, that is the ultimate goal and ultimate thing. And someone say, दोस्त के लिए जो जान देता है, वो ultimate जान. But is it right? Have we even tried to understand what scriptures say about it? What is the goal of life? If I ask kids, what is the goal of life? To get good marks? To hear to our parents? Huh? Chocolate khana? Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to dwell much here, but the point is, we have covered science of self-realization course in the last 6 months in Vihanga itself. and a lot of devotees have attended the session where we have covered topics like in search of happiness. What are the real problems of your life? What are the real problems of your life? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Birth, death, old age and disease. These are the 4 real problems. What is the criteria for a problem to be called a real problem? As per scriptures, what is the criteria to make a problem a real problem? Any guesses? Any guesses? Elders, please. As I said, it's not a kid-centric session. Kid-centric, the same thing I have to explain for half an hour. I don't want to do that now. Already, that was the first session where I taken with kids, and Vihanga kids have given me a very tough time. So, yeah. So, what are the real problems of life? Anyway, the criteria for a real problem, as per scripture, no one can, it is applicable for everyone. That is the first criteria. It is applicable for everyone. Second criteria, no one wants it. Third criteria, no one can avoid it. These are the 3 criteria for calling a problem a real problem. And which are those things which falls under this criteria? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Old age, disease, birth and death. Right? That was the first session what we have taken. Second session was, does God exist? Does God exist? I hope being in the here in this forum, I think everyone believes God exists. Or actually that session logically proves that God exists. We are not spoken about who is God. We simply proved that does God exist. That was the second session. Third session was, do we need to believe in scriptures? Do we need to believe? Our material education like CBSE and ICSE can go wrong, but not scriptures. Can you give an example? In the interest of time, I will tell. I think your parents might be knowing. When your parents' kids or elders who are sitting there, what are the number of planets we used to have? 9, right? 9. But what is the current? Currently, how many planets are being told in our CBSE? 8. So material 9 to 8 it got changed. Now, plastic was invented. It was a great invention at that time. But now plastic is not preferred, right? So this material invention and discoveries, they are not authentic. It might be good at this time. At a later point, it might be dangerous also. Okay. So like this, we have proved that the scriptures are. We need to believe in scripture. That is the third session. Fourth session we studied was Nana. You have to sit down. Okay. Fourth session we looked into was modes of material nature. That is Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun. That's what we have gone through in the fourth session. Modes of material nature. Fifth session. Who is Guru? Can we call our teachers Guru? Yes, we can call. But as per scriptures, Guru or a spiritual master is the person who takes the responsibility of disciples to deliver from this material world. That is the responsibility of a spiritual master. Do we need to believe in Guru? That was the fifth session. And sixth session was secrets of death. Is death the end of our existence? How many of you believe? Why? Why no? Why no? So we have logically proved that in the secrets of death, that our life is beyond death. So death is not the end of it. We are just changing. Even in Bhagavad Gita it is said, as we change our clothes, our body is also getting changed, but the soul is same. And that is right. And when we attend this session and when we read the scriptures, that conviction will be more. People might, aisa hota hai. But we don't have the conviction. But when we follow the scriptures, we believe. We associate with the devotees, we believe. We try to get this information from the realized souls, we believe. So we need to associate. But our association mostly is with our colleagues, spending time in malls, this thing. We are materially, lot of attachments are there. So we might not understand at this situation. But that is truth as per scriptures. Whether you agree or not. Scriptures are not meant for satisfying your, whatever you are. That was the sixth session what we have seen. Seventh session we have seen, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do bad things happen to good people? And even why good things happen to bad people? That was the seventh session. Eighth session was laws of karma and how complex it is. And the 10th session, who is God? Who is God? Actually, who is God? Like a company has a CEO, COO, HR and etc. Even in the God kingdom, there is a CEO. There is an ultimate person. And under him there are some 3.3 crore, Mukkoti Devata, we say, right? That is true. There are almost 3.3 crore Devatas are there who are delegated to do some functions. Can you imagine for managing the eyelids of all living entities, there is one Devata, Nimi. That Devata name is Nimi, who takes care of the eyelids of all living entities. Eyelids. If he is going one day for leave, we have to do like this. Okay, that is, so like that 3.3 crore Devatas, they have their job description defined to perform certain activities. So that's what we have studied in the 10th session. 11th session we have seen what is the purpose of yoga, what is the main purpose of yoga. And 12th session, how we can implement the knowledge of scriptures in our modern society, in the current society. A lot of people say scriptures, वो तो बहुत पुराने हैं यार, अभी इस जमाने में काम नहीं करता है. That's what they say. But it is not. There are people, there are great people, great people. I mean, from the material qualification front, when there are people, there are devotees who are CEOs, and there are big managers in our community where they have performing their professional job equally and also balancing their spiritual life as well. Okay, so that's what about the 12th session we have seen. Now today Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is as I said, it is a pastimes of devotees and Lord, wherein they are implementing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Our goal of life, by the way, what is the goal of life now? Any guesses at least? What is the goal of human life? Moksha. What is moksha? Liberation. Probably. Let me put it in a more simplified way. It is going back home, back to Godhead. Going back home, back to Godhead. How many of you believe Vaikuntha? Have you heard of Vaikuntha? I think everyone has heard about Vaikuntha. And do you believe Vaikuntha exists? Someone lift no who say don't believe. Vaikuntha. Because there are people who can't believe. I mean, they will not believe. It is something like, I always quote this example. I think for some of the devotees it might be a repetition. In my village, opposite to my house, there is a woodcutter. His name is Rangaya. Rangaya, he actually we don't have gas cylinders and all in villages. So we have the mud kitchen, mud kitchen. So we put the sticks or woods in that and we cook the stuff. So I was discussing with Rangaya. So Rangaya, every day you work for almost these many hours. How much you get per day? He said that 500 rupees I get. 500 rupees per day I will get. I work in a big company. By the way, I am Mahesh. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Mahesh. I am working as a service delivery manager in Tata Consultancy Services, TCS. Okay, so I told him that I work in a company and monthly I get almost 2 to 3 lakhs. And by simply sitting in one place, I have a AC. By simply sitting in one place, I get all this salary. I said, I don't believe. He said, he don't believe. నేను ఇంత కష్టపడి చెమటోడ్చి ఇంత పని చేస్తే నాకు ఓన్లీ 5 రూపాయలే దొరికేది. And how can there be a place where the person is simply sitting and sitting in a AC environment? How you can get that much salary? By him not believing that a place exists where a person by simply sitting and having a AC and all, he is getting 2 lakhs. It doesn't mean that place doesn't exist, right? So Vaikuntha, as per scriptures, Acharyas, they have mentioned that there are Vaikuntha. It's not one Vaikuntha, there are Vaikuntha lokas. So many Vaikunthas are there. So our goal is, to ensure, as a human life, our goal is to see how we go back home, back to Godhead. That is the goal of human life. And this is the Srimad Bhagavatam is the stories of devotees and their loving exchanges with the Lord. How a kid and mother, they have loving exchanges actually mother's love is compared to the nearest love when compared to God's love, because it is unconditional, unexpected. You will not expect anything in return from kids. Mother's love is relatively more nearer to God's love. But these are the list of so many devotees in this Srimad Bhagavatam, where it gives a loving exchanges. When you read these books, you will see that they have followed the rules of Bhagavad Gita. So when you read, when you listen to people, the conviction increases. Yes or no? Do you believe or no? Please, even if you are negating, see, this is the forum where we have to discuss freely. Because if we discuss this thing, if we go to Mindspace, some employee is going inside the Mindspace, we stop him. Prabhuji, do you know why you have taken birth? No, I am having a meeting, I have to go, please. That's what they say, right? Have you noticed this? Actually, one of the devotees shared to me. He was distributing Bhagavad Gita and he was going to, Mindspace gate. People will be in a rush, car, bikes and all. One devotee stopped him. Prabhuji, do you know the goal of life? Why you have taken birth? No, I don't have time. I'm having urgent meeting. So actually people are not interested. So that's the point. I don't, without wasting, I have very less time, but there is a lot of contents to cover. So these are the topics for today's discussion: Advent of Srimad Bhagavatam and contents of Srimad Bhagavatam and glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Advent of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have 5 tracks. As in a movie, we have, you might have seen a lot of movies wherein different 3 to 4 stories parallelly run, and all the 4 stories in the climax, they interject and a big climax occurs. Right? You might have seen a lot of movies like that. Have you seen like this? Right? I don't remember one movie, English movie, I've seen it in London, wherein, they try to kill a president, and there are different 4 versions from each perspective they show, and finally a big climax emerges. So like that, how Srimad Bhagavatam emerged. So we have almost 5 tracks here. Okay, so we will go through them one by one. But please have a rapt attention here, because I am not a person where only one side batting happens. Even bowling also has to happen. I will ensure that you are also engaged. I will ask questions. So please pay attention. Okay. Now, who is Parikshit Maharaj? Any guesses? Abhimanyu Sen. Generally, Parikshit Maharaj means अपन का BR Chopra and Z TV Abhimanyu तक ही छोड़ देता है सीरियल्स. उसके बाद जाता नहीं. Right? So, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Bhavnara Prabhu? Yeah, Chinnappa Reddy Prabhu. He has been with us for all our SSR sessions, and he has been supportive for our conducting sessions in our Vihanga. Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks, Prabhu. Okay, so Parikshit Maharaj, yes, Prabhuji, as Prabhuji said, he is Abhimanyu's son. Right? Abhimanyu's son. Now, any idea what are the glories of Parikshit Maharaj? Parikshit Maharaj was I think we can say, he was the last king who ruled the entire planet. When we say entire planet, it is not about India alone. And the entire earth planet was called as Bharatavarsha. And our current tract of India is called Bharatavarsha. But Bharatavarsha was the entire earth planet was Bharatavarsha. The entire planet was ruled by Parikshit Maharaj. There were no continents at that time. 5,000 years back. Can you believe it? No? I don't want to dwell into that. There are so many artifacts where we can archaeologically also be proven. So he was the last king. Ideally, who is the son of Parikshit Maharaj? Any idea? Who is the son of Parikshit Maharaj? Any guesses? Parikshit Maharaj's son name is Janmejaya. Janmejaya, because after him, Janmejaya has taken. He is the last king, we can say. After that, a lot of divisions happened, and it got distracted. So we need to understand. So glories of Parikshit Maharaj, and when we try to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, we need to understand that simply by mere reading, I have come across so many devotees or elders to say, especially who are at the age of 60 or 70, elders, when I discuss about Bhagavad Gita, they used to say that, I have read Bhagavad Gita 30 to 40 times. I read. When I asked what is the goal of, what was it said, what is the goal of Bhagavad Gita, then generally the answer is, goal of Bhagavad Gita, we have to be very good with the people, we should be friendly. That's not the goal. I'm sorry. That's not the goal. I'm really sorry to say that. It is one of the important subset of a major goal. Yes, it is good to be good with others. Yes, it is good to be non-violent with others. It is good, but it is not the goal. Goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead, break this material world. That is the goal of life. That's what is being said about Bhagavad Gita. That is the goal of life. And whatever the duty you are doing, you do duty as part of God's instruction. And this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, only you can understand when you become a devotee. Bhaktosmi sakha cheti. When you try to become a devotee, then only you can understand the scriptures. By simply merely reading 30, that's what it is said, Guhya Gyan. Krishna himself says, Guhya Gyan. What a book, right? Book is open in front of you, but still you will not understand. Because that book can't be understood without you taking the shelter of a devotee. What a secret, right? It's looking like, I mean, you can't find any book like that, where book is open in front of you, but still you will not understand. But only if you can understand if you associate with devotees. When a person thinks that, I said 30 to 40 times Bhagavad Gita, means he has not read. Because we need humility. That is the traits. What is the characteristics? When I have been working in Infosys. You know, Infosys, there is a rule to join Infosys. Minimum 60% should be there. Whatever topkan you might be in your technical field, if you get 40%, they won't take. I think everybody knows it, right? Am I right? Yes. So that is the basic character. Similarly, for understanding scriptures, we need to have that attitude. Attitude in the sense, we need to have, the simplicity, humility to serve. And only, we say, Trinadipi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sayishkuna. So we should serve the Guru and inquire. There is nothing wrong. This is the platform where we need to inquire. Because if the same topic are discussed outside with your friends, they will laugh at you. Yes or no? God, what is the goal of life? Birth is a problem. If you discuss with your friends, will it be a fruitful discussion? Yeah. ఏం మాట్లాడుతున్నారు బై భర్త ఏంటి ఉన్నది ఒకటే జిందగీ ఎంజాయ్ మాడి బాసు రైట్ దట్స్ ద డిస్కషన్ వాట్ పీపుల్ హ్యావ్ సో దిస్ ఇస్ ద ప్లాట్ఫామ్ ఇఫ్ ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆర్ దేర్ వితౌట్ హెసిటేషన్ ప్లీజ్ అటాక్ ఓకే అండ్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ క్వాలిఫైడ్ బట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ knowledge my guru has given, I am trying to present it here. Otherwise I came from a background where 6 years back someone would have told, Mahesh, 6 years after you will be going to tell something in a temple for a lot of devotees here, then I would have laughed. Me, temple speaking, I would have laughed. But sometimes Krishna places certain situations he bring into where you have to abide. So we need to understand. Now glories of Parikshit Maharaj, when I say, now Parikshit Maharaj was the last king. Now do we know the duties of a king? Can you imagine what kind of a responsibility a king used to take at that time? Any guesses? I'm just giving one example, just an example. Is one old person, his sons died in front of him, and as per the natural laws, actually the elder persons are expected to leave the body first, and then subsequently people have to leave. But he was having a right to go to king and held responsible, make him held responsible, that why in your kingdom people are leaving the body even before their elders. Kings used to take the responsibility, but it is very difficult to believe. Can we go to our MLA and ask this? It has deteriorated, Prabhuji and Mataji, and being in Kali Yuga, it is going to further deteriorate. Now the choice is with us, whether we have to abide with the scriptures or not. And being in India, it is always, especially foreigners are better in that aspect, in one way, because they will not believe and they will act accordingly. But if they believe, they stick with it. మన ఇండియాలోనే ఆ గట్టునుంటావా మామ ఈ గట్టునుంటావా, ఆల్వేస్ కన్ఫ్యూజన్ వుడ్ బి దేర్. Okay, so that was the responsibility what king used to take. Now coming to Parikshit Maharaj, he was ruling the earth for so many ages, and even in Bhagavad Purana it is mentioned, and he was always taking the shelter of Brahmanas. As we have ministers for a king was having a Brahmanas where he used to take the knowledge. Brahmanas were meant to give the Brahmagyan to the people. And he used to take always the shelter of Brahmanas to suggest something good, what good can be made to the people, and how can people self-realize and go away from this material world. That was the Brahmagyan what Brahmanas were having the major thing. Now Parikshit Maharaj, even in can you name, let me ask a question, can you name a recent king, last king who used to follow this rule of taking the help of Brahmana and executing the orders in the kingdom? Any guesses? Even it is mentioned in Bhavishya Purana and Bhagavad Purana also. Who was the last king? Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya was the last king who used to follow the orders of Brahmana and execute the kingdom accordingly. So, and who was the Brahmana? Chanakya. So Chanakya was his one of the ministers. So like this, we are having. They are not worth giving, but so similar to. So Parikshit Maharaj was at a juncture where Kali Yuga was supposed to start. Everyone here understands English, right? Understand. So Parikshit Maharaj was at a juncture where where Kali Yuga was supposed to start, and he was seeing the symptoms. Sometimes you can't avoid, so many devotees who are working in software companies. Project is given generally by the client for 2 to 3 years. And after third year, a renewal is expected to happen. And by the renewal time, you are supposed to show the cost saving, right? I think some of you are working in corporate companies, no? Right? Yeah. So we have to show the savings, and we have to release some people because somehow with service improvements, if you are not able to show the improvements or cost saving, we have to decrease resources and show the savings. Why we are doing? But that is a phase of a project. It's a life cycle of a project where we have to decrease. Sorry. Sunil Prabhu, so the water. So like that, Parikshit Maharaj was at a juncture where Kali Yuga was expected to start. And what are the two main traits of Kali Yuga? Any guesses? Ice trait enti? What is the trait of ice? It's very cold, very chill, right? Antarctica mein ice hona, it's very common thing, no? Like that, in Kali Yuga, what are the two common things? Huh? Evil, okay. Yeah, that's a very good. आपने बहुत broad बता दिया evil करके. Okay. Scriptures explain that Kali Yuga, the main parameters are hypocrisy and quarrel. Do you agree? There is no need of a genuine reason for a quarrel. If I am saying, Prabhuji, your good name? Bhaskar Rao garu. And if I am seeing Bhaskar Rao Prabhuji for 2 minutes like this, hey, entra bhai, enti ala chustunnavu enti? Have you come across such situation nearby you? Where there is no valid reason for fight also. There is no valid reason for fight, but simply people look for an opportunity to fight. So that is the Kali Yuga for you. Okay, Kali Yuga, the main traits are quarrel and hypocrisy. And hypocrisy, अंदर कुछ रहता है, बाहर कुछ बोलते हैं. Client, sorry Prabhu. Project, we give a lot of promises to the client, but we deliver something, and delivered thing we don't know whether it will be fine or not, but we promise something, we do something, and finally we execute something, right? So this duplicity, even in our dealings also, if you see, अपन अंदर कुछ बोलते हैं, बाहर कुछ अंदर कुछ होता है, बाहर कुछ बोलते हैं. Hypocrisy. So these are the main two traits of Kali Yuga. We need to understand that. So now coming to glories of Parikshit Maharaj, Ashwatthama, long story cut short, Ashwatthama is at a juncture where he promises Duryodhana that I will ensure that no future generations of Pandavas are there, and he unethically kills the sons of Draupadi. You know that or not? Draupadi, unethically. How unethically? When they were sleeping, it's not killing, butchering, when slaughtering their heads. Heads are slaughtered from the body. So, sons of Draupadi are killed by Ashwatthama. Then Draupadi laments and do you know any instance in Mahabharata or Krishna's 125 years of pastimes in Bhuloka where Krishna cried or tears came out of Krishna? Have you heard of it? Any instance? కృష్ణుడి కళ్ళల్లో నుంచి కన్నీరు రావటం ఎప్పుడైనా విన్నారా? कभी कृष्ण के आंखों से आंसू बहना कभी देखा या सुना किसी ने? This is the instance where this is a leela where Draupadi's sons are killed, and Draupadi laments, and Bhima was about to go and kill Ashwatthama, and Arjuna was Draupadi, whatever you say, we will do it. And they were ready to kill Ashwatthama also. But Draupadi, and Krishna also said the same thing, whatever you like, we will do. So, but Draupadi said that killing a spiritual master's son is a sin, so you should not do it. That is one parameter. Second one is, I have five sons. I know the pain when a son dies, and they are having only one son. Do you know mother's name of Ashwatthama? Ashwatthama's mother's name? Kripi. She is having only one son. Why she has to undergo the pain what I have undergone? So she forgiven him in fact, and told that don't kill. So by seeing this, Krishna also cried. Tears came out of it. And that's why Draupadi is glorified in scriptures. And today, in our current society, we talked very cheaply about Draupadi. And can you believe, scriptures even explain that even mother goddess, mother of prosperity, Lakshmi Devi, she used to take tips from Draupadi on how to make a husband happy. That was the level of Draupadi. So Draupadi now in media or cinema actors, they show very cheaply about her. Okay, we need to understand what scriptures say. So that was the greatness of Draupadi. And after that act happened, they brought Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama was very proud and going to tell. Even in fact, such a evil person like Duryodhana also condemned this act. That how can you do like this? Midnight and not in a proper war and all, how you can do? Even Duryodhana also scolded. And after Ashwatthama, after that he has after killing those 5 sons of Draupadi, and now there were no successors of Pandava available, but there was one who was there in the mother's womb, who was not taken even birth. He was in mother's womb. What is Abhimanyu's wife's name? Uttara. So there was only that was the only person. No other subsequent successors are there for Pandavas apart from that small boy in mother's womb. He was the only one, and he wanted to attack that boy also. So he released Brahmastra to kill the boy in mother's womb. And then Uttara has no other choice but to take the shelter of Krishna, and Krishna came in the thumb size and shown thumb size, and saved the boy, because he was not able to bear the heat. All the heat he has taken, and he stops the Brahmastra. Okay, stops the Brahmastra, and in that womb Parikshit has seen Krishna he has seen. Why that name has come Parikshit? Any idea? Why that name has come Parikshit? Parikshit means with very focusedly he is looking into one person. First time he has seen, the very first person whom he has seen is Krishna, and such a beautiful face he has seen. And after he is taking birth, he never seen he was looking for the same person again and again, and he could not see him. So that's why he is called Parikshit Maharaj. Okay? Yeah? Parikshit means who is continuously in search of something. Here in this case, he was continuously in search of the same person, beautiful person whom he has seen in mother's womb. Okay? Yeah. So, but as I said, the Draupadi, a lot of people like Devdutt Patnaik and all, they talk very cheaply without having a scriptural references. We need to understand that. So we should always believe in scriptures, not our CBSE books. Okay? So like this, king rule was almost very important, and last king, as we seen, it was Chandragupta Maurya, and as we said, Sri Parikshit Maharaj was a Rajarshi. When I say Rajarshi, what is the difference between a Razu and Rajarshi? Any idea? What is the difference between Raja and Rajarshi? Any guesses? రాజుకి రాజర్షికి మధ్యలో వ్యత్యాసం ఏమిటి? ఎవరు చెప్పినా బాగుంటుంది, చెప్పాలి. Any idea? Any guesses? King is generally everyone know who rules the kingdom. Rajarshi is, apart from ruling the kingdom, he is also a Brahmana having a good knowledge on scriptures. Good knowledge on scriptures. And always depends on Brahmana. So he always acts as per the scriptures. He is Raja, he is well versed with scriptures. Okay? Next is Parikshit Maharaj means examiner. Having seen the Lord while he was in the womb, he always in search after that form in whomever he met, but he could not find. Krupacharya was his guru. He ruled the world for whole earth. These are the different shlokas, Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 16th chapter, 12th sloka. It is mentioned if you want, because I don't want to dwell, I don't have much time. So you can always, these references are there. Nobody could dare to kill the helpless under his protection. That was the kind of responsibility a king used to take. Everyone was feeling safe. Everyone. He ruled the world as a great devotee of the Lord under the instructions of Brahmana. As a king, he was responsible for all living entities. So that was the kind of person he was. So Parikshit Maharaj goes to reconquer the planet because he could sense something wrong is happening. जब आप अपने घर जाते हो, generally in your home, with the kids you are having in home, usually it is not a serene environment in your home when the kids are there. But one day you go to home, you see utter silence. Will you doubt or not? कुछ ना कुछ तो चल रहा है पीछे, right? So like that, he could sense that something fishy is happening in my kingdom. So he went again. Parikshit Maharaj goes to reconquer the planet. He goes again, not like we going to Gachibowli, Kajagoda, Tallapur and all. No, Africa, Europe, vagera vagera. He was traveling, and at one juncture, he has seen a person who was dressed in a fake king's dress and with a blackish complexion. He was attacking cows and cows. He was attacking cows, and he has chopped off 3 legs of a bull. Chopped off 3 legs of a bull. Generally, in scriptures, it is mentioned that bull is compared to dharma and cow is compared to. Any idea? No, Nandi, that's a vehicle, but what it is compared to? Bull is compared to dharma, and cow is compared to Mother Earth, Bhumi. Okay? So that was King Parikshit goes to know that the 4 legs of dharma are breaking. And what are the four legs? 4 legs of dharma we tell, right? What are 4 dharmas? What are the 4 legs of dharma? Any idea? Please. Throw a stone. No problem, कोई punishment करने वाला नहीं है. Pardon? Vedas, yeah, it is a part, but what are 4 pillars of a dharma? We say that. What are the 4 pillars? Vedas, yes, it is. It talks about how to ensure that pillars are intact. Okay. Any guesses? Any more guesses? Satyam. Satyam is one pillar. Sauchyam. Daya. And Satyam, Sauchyam, Daya, Tapasya. These are the 4 pillars of dharma. And directly these 4 things are related to. For example, if I say Satyam, that is related to gambling. Sauchyam, that is related to illicit sex. Sauchyam. Next, Tapasya. Tapasya means no intoxication. And Daya. 4th, Daya, it is related to meat eating. Meat eating in sense, you are not having any mercy towards a living entity. These are the 4 pillars of dharma. Okay, so he could sense, he got to know that 4 legs of dharma are breaking. Illicit sex, meat eating, gambling and intoxication. So he went out to conquer the world again to establish his supremacy. Just to ensure that I am there and no one can meddle with my rule. So here, he could see that person. And bull representing dharma met cow representing the Bhumi, Mother Earth, who was lamenting. And there is a wonderful conversation happening between that bull and a cow. Because cow was crying. Cow was in tears. Then bull asked Bhumi various questions. Dharma inquired, "Oh good lady, what is the cause of your grief? Are you suffering from some disease or are you thinking of some relative who is away in distant place?" Okay, he was inquiring why you are crying. Despite his 3 legs were broken and he was only on 1 leg, but that cow was crying and he was asking cow in return. Okay. Another question, are you lamenting for me because I have lost 3 of my legs, or are you in anxiety because henceforward the meat eaters will exploit you? See, this discussion was happening almost 5,000 years back. So they could sense that 5,000 years back, after 5,000 years, there will be coming at a juncture where cows would be slaughtered, cows would be eaten. It is happening, right? Now, are you aggrieved that demigods no longer receive sacrificial offerings and thus other dependent living beings are suffering from drought and famine? In yajna, when we do, we pour what? Ghee. What do we say when we pour ghee? Swaha. Swaha means take our offerings. Take our offerings. That's what it means. Swaha. Okay, so he was concerned. Are you crying that demigods no longer receive sacrificial offerings? That's what he was worried. Now, are you feeling compassion for the poor women and children that have left forlorn by unscrupulous men? Now, this divers or people leaving and all, you are seeing now, right? Earlier, divers was not there in our Indian culture. There is no word of divers. Do you know that? Or are you unhappy to see how the goddess of learning is being mishandled by so-called Brahmanas that are addicted to all kinds of sinful habits? Now Brahmanas working in Infosys, TCS, Capgemini, Google, but actually as a Varna, Brahmanas' main duty was, to propagate Brahmagyan. That was the main duty of Brahmana. Anyway, now we are into this situation. It's not that we should talk about people who are working in that office. That's not the intention. But the main duty of Brahmanas, we need to understand. Brahmana is a Varna. Varna Shrama. It's not a Janma. Brahmana's son becomes Brahmana probably as per our Indian, documentation purpose, he can be a Brahmana. But even a person who was born in Shudra can also become a Brahmana. It's a Varna, not a Janma. You need to understand that. Janma means, for example, you are born, you might be having some caste or a religion. So the same thing you would be getting, right? After Janma, you will be, for example, Yadav. Your father's name is Narayana Yadav. You are some Bablu Yadav. So Yadav will be attached, right? So basically, Kshatriya. So like this, it is simply if you are born from a Kshatriya, it doesn't mean that you will be a Kshatriya for lifelong. You can become a Brahmana also. Similarly, a Kshatriya, a Shudra who was born in Shudra family can also become a Brahmana. And a Brahmana who was born in Brahmana family can become a Shudra also. There are so many Brahmanas whom I know in person. They eat non-veg, they smoke, they booze, they eat cow meat. I know. It is in my personal experience. I know Brahmanas who are eating cow meat. No, luckily not in India, but in US, in Europe, when I was there in UK. So we are into that situation. It's not a session to blame someone, but we need to understand that it is a Varna, not a Janma. Okay. So now, and what is the next question? Are you sorry to see how the genuine Brahmanas are forced to take shelter of kings that no longer have respect for Brahmanical culture? Such administrative heads have come under the influence of Kali, and thus the state affairs are all in disorder. Are you unhappy because of this, or because the general populace no longer follows the regulatory principles that govern eating, sleeping and mating, and thus perform such acts unrestrictedly? That was the question he was posing to cow, Gomata. Last question. O Mother Earth, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna had incarnated just to relieve your burden. Now being bereft of his presence, are you remembering his transcendental pastimes and thus feeling the pangs of separation? I think the powerful influence of time must have forcibly taken away all your good fortune, and for this reason you are now lamenting. Because Krishna has just left the planet. So are you worrying that Krishna is no more there in the planet and he left to his hometown or home? That's the reason why you are worried. Like that he was asking. For that, Mother Earth answers. Mother Earth in the form of cow replied, O Dharma, you are also maintained on your 4 legs by the mercy of Lord Krishna, the reservoir of all good qualities. So that happiness spread throughout the universe. Lord Krishna has now concluded his performances of transcendental pastimes upon the earth, and in his absence, the age of Kali has spread its influence everywhere. It is because of this that I am very aggrieved. Because see, Kali has to come. So that's what that's what is spoken about in the next stage, wherein Kali is entering. He has to enter, and Parikshit Maharaj is adamant that in my rule, no one has to. Yeah. You are talking about this? Yes, that's right. Anyway, coming to cow, yes, it is very divine animal. It's a go mata. Actually, no other animal is compared to mata, but only cow is compared to mata. And yes, you are right. Each and every body part of it is said that cow contains all Mukkoti Devatas in her body. And you know where Lakshmi Mata resides? Tail portion, right? Lakshmi Mata resides in the tail. So that's why cow is very, very divine. We are having a, what's your good name? Good name? Vikas. Prakash. Praharsh. So Praharsh has brought the topic. We are having a small farmhouse, Vaishnava Seva Kunj, wherein, we are having almost 50 to 60 cows. We devotees in Gachibowli almost around, we are having a family of say 100 to 150 devotee families are there. We are taking care of cows. I myself have a cow, bull, and its name is Shambhu. We monthly maintain. We give a maintenance of around 5 to 6,000, and we maintain each and every cow there. We are almost having 60 cows there, and in Vaishnav Seva Kunj, located en route to Chevella, we are having 60 cows, and we get the milk, desi cow milk every day. We get in our home, and we take care. And in that farmhouse, we are having vegetable also. So we get, whenever the vegetables are there, we get also. So like that, whatever we can do from our end, we are trying to do for mother cow, whatever is there in our hand. So mother cow is really very, very great, and yes, that is right. In her body, all the devatas are there. You are right. Okay. So Parikshit Maharaj seen the Kali Purusha, and Maharaj Parikshit arrived at the banks of river Saraswati. There he saw the Shudra wearing the dress of a king was engaged in beating the cows and bull with his club as if they had no protector. The bull was white as lotus flower as he stood upon one leg. The bull was so terrified that his entire body trembled and he was passing in urine. Can you understand the pain, Prabhuji and Mataji? A bull where 3 legs are chopped off, and with that it is trembling and passing urine. Actually, pain of a mother, when actually my dad being a retired deputy superintendent of police, I had a privilege of going to a police station and just listen to the conversation when I was a kid. I used to listen to the conversation. So a lot of people or mothers used to come and cry, like మా బాబు చూడలేదండి నన్ను కొట్టేసి కారులో పడేశాడు. My kid has beaten me and thrown in gutter. That was the situation, it is Kali Yuga. This was not the situation in other yugas. We are in this Kali Yuga because we have rejected God outright in all the previous yugas. We need to understand that. Okay, so with tears in her eyes, she was hankering for some grass in the field. And in Satyuga, your 4 legs were established by the practice of austerity and cleanliness, mercy and truthfulness. Now, however, 3 of your legs have broken due to rampant irreligion in the form of pride, lust for women and intoxication. You are standing upon the last leg of truthfulness. Only in Kali Yuga, truthfulness is the only thing which is left. Truthfulness is the only it is left, and even that is also shaking in Kali Yuga. Now, Parikshit Maharaj goes to kill the Kali because he was torturing the cows or bull. He was torturing. He goes to kill the Kali. But what happens? Any guesses? Kali was supposed to killed by Parikshit Maharaj, but Kali says, as a representative of God, you are taking care of your kingdom. I am also a servant of God only. I need to start Kali Yuga. It is my duty to start Kali Yuga. If I am not starting Kali Yuga, how will? So you can't, king, please, sorry, you can't kill me. please give shelter to me. Whomever comes to your shelter, I heard that you give shelter. So like that he pleads, begs king. Then what king says is, okay, since you have been nihatta without attacking me and you are asking for a shelter, I will give a shelter. But he asks, where can I stay? Then he says, you can stay at a place where intoxication is happening. Intoxication means mandu, vindu, vagera, intoxication. There you can stay. Second, where there is meat eating, there you can stay. And where there is illicit affairs, there you can stay. And where there is gambling, there you can stay. These are the 4 options what Parikshit Maharaj gives to Kali Purusha to stay. Clear? Any questions? Please, without hesitation, ask questions. Yes. Why does Kali? Come here. I'm not able to hear you. Nice dress. Very nice dress. Come. Yeah, tell me, what is the question?
Actually, my question is, how does Kali react to Parikshit Maharaj? There is shelter options for her to stay.
Why did Kali come again?
How did Kali react to the shelter options Parikshit Maharaja?
How do Kali react to the options what Parikshit Maharaj has given, right? I will tell. You are not ensuring me to continue. The next statement is that only. Okay. Yeah, his question is, how does Kali react to the options what Parikshit Maharaj has given to Kali Purusha to stay? So he pleaded, give me some options and give me shelter where I can stay in your kingdom. And Parikshit Maharaj gives options, 4 options. Where he can stay? What are the 4 options? What are the 4 options? Intoxication. Wherever intoxication is there, you can stay. Second, wherever there is gambling, you can stay. Illicit affairs. Wherever there is illicit affairs, you can stay. Fourth is wherever there is meat slaughtering or meat eating is there you can stay. 4 options he gives. Then Kali says, what Parikshit Maharaj, what options you have given? What options you have given to me? In your wonderful kingdom, with the kind of rule you are doing, there is no place like this where these things happen. There is no place like this where these things happen in your kingdom. That's what Kali says. So there is no other option for me to say, please give another option, he says. What is the other option he gives? Gold. Lalita Jewelers. What is the famous dialogue what he quotes? Dabbu andarki em adade? Dabbu chitlu kayadu. Next. Dabbu urike raadu. Dabbu urike raadu. So yes, that's right. So he gives option that you can stay wherever the gold is. Wherever the gold is. Okay? So that is the option what he gives. Anyway, these are the things what we have discussed in brief. So he could live where gold was being kept, for in such places there is invariably falsity, intoxication, lust, envy and enmity. Okay? So he gives that option. And that's where our track 1 finishes. Track 1 is over. That is, who is Parikshit Maharaj? Right? You should remember, I will in between ask questions. Okay. What is the track 2? Why Maharaj Parikshit went to the banks of Ganga? Why Maharaj Parikshit went to the banks of Ganga? Okay. Why Maharaj Parikshit went to the banks of Ganga? Maharaj Parikshit, as you know, he was going across his kingdom, and when he was going through one forest, he felt thirsty. And went to a Rishi's small kutir. Picture will come. Picture will be baki. Okay. So you know, so Maharaj Parikshit he feels thirsty and goes to a small Rishi's kutir where you know he asks for water. He was feeling thirsty, he asked for a water. And Rishi, what is that Rishi's name? Any guesses? And that Rishi is in deep penance or meditating on the names of Vishnu, and he was in completely immersed in the meditation of Vishnu, and he was chanting the holy names and completely immersed. And he was, one time he asked for water and he doesn't respond. Second time he asks for water, he doesn't respond, and he feels angry. King feels angry. Parikshit Maharaj gets angry, and he sees a dead snake outside the kutir, and he places that dead snake on the Rishi. How come a king comes and asks for a water? Prime Minister Modi comes to your good name, Mataji? Your good name? Natasha. Natasha Mataji के घर Prime Minister Modi जी आए, नॉक किया, पानी दे दो, रेस्पॉन्ड नहीं किया. कितना, how much insulting it would be, right? Leave about Prime Minister. Even Prabhuji is coming also. He will not feel good, right? So Parikshit Maharaj asks, and he gets angry. And there is a dead snake right out of the house, and he puts a dead snake on the Rishi. What is the Rishi's name, by the way? Any guesses? Rishi's name. What is the Rishi's name? ఎవరైనా చెప్పగలరా? ఆ రిషి పేరు ఏమిటి? ఎవరి మీద అయితే చనిపోయిన పాము వేశాడో ఆ మహారాజు. Samika Rishi. His name is Samika Rishi. In that Samika Rishi kutir, where he was not able to respond to king's request, and with the completely offended, he puts a dead snake on him. Okay, that's what the picture it shows. Maharaja Parikshit enters Samika Rishi's ashram for water, and offended by disrespect of Samika Rishi, Maharaj Parikshit puts a dead snake of Rishi's neck and left. And probably we need to understand the respect king should deserve, because he was a responsible person. He was taking the responsibility of entire citizens in his kingdom. And now after that, what happened? What is Samika Rishi's kid's name? There was his 5-year-old son who was playing outside. He was playing outside kutir with his friends. Then after playing, he sees that Parikshit Maharaj was going out of his kutir. He was feeling very happy. King of the world is coming to my house. What a wonderful thing! And he comes inside, and he sees that on his father a dead snake was there, and he feels offended. How come my father, who has put dead snake on my father? On my father, who can keep a dead snake? He gets offended, and in that offense, he again re-inquires with his friends. Do you know who has put the dead snake on my father? And his friends confirm that dead snake was put by Parikshit Maharaj only. Then in that anger, he takes little water, and what do they do? Curses, saying that within 7 days, you king of the entire planet, will be dying in 7 days by a snake bite. King, Rajarshi, you will be killed by a snake bite within 7 days. That was the curse he gives. Have you heard of this story anytime? Or are you hearing it for the first time? First time only, right? Yeah.
I have heard.
Huh?
I have heard this story.
Yeah. So now, small boy, 5 years boy, Brahmana. Can you believe a boy cursing and that curse happening? Do you believe that when Brahmana curses, will it really happen? Okay, let me try to correlate with a modern example. My school, somehow, I'm not a Brahmin by caste, okay? But somehow, I used to like, we never do friendship by seeing a caste and all, but somehow, later we came to know, after we became friends, in school, I have a lot of Brahmin friends, wherein, with the kind of, the smooth nature or a very polite nature, we used to always have a liking towards, always have a liking towards Brahmins, and my friends were there. And even sometimes some people try to have a fight with Brahmins, I used to go and defend and do some kind of act like that. And some people also used to quote, ఎందుకురా బాబు అసలే బాపు నోడు పెట్టుకుంటే వాడు అన్నది నిజమవుతుంది, వాడితో జాగ్రత్తగా ఉండరా బాబు అని అంటాం. విన్నారా ఎప్పుడైనా? హ్యావ్ యూ హర్డ్ దిస్? Why to have unnecessarily tussle with the Brahmin? If he says something true, it will unnecessarily happen in our life. So better careful with Brahmins. Have you heard this anytime? No? Yes. Yes or no?
Yes,
Jor se. Yes. So, and we are talking about only just 30 to 40 years back. Now imagine the purity of Brahmins 5000 years back. And even I personally have seen wherein Brahmana, when we should not hurt them. If they hurt and if they are hurt and if they are telling something negative, it will happen. And it happened also. Of course, no, not with me, but I have seen some other of my friends for whom it has happened. Okay, so now we are talking about the purity. Now consider the Brahmins' purity 5000 years back. Do you know how they get that purity? Have you ever imagined how they get that purity? Vakshuddhi. Yes. I mean, I'm just trying to, it's not a mere story, Prabhuji and Mataji. It's a history. And the English people, Britishers have been successful in showing that this all is mythology. They have been successful, to be frank with you. They have been successful. But this is not mythology. It is our history, which our kids are not ensured to study in our schools. Because all this, secular and everything comes into the topic. But have I discussed anything religion specific? Whatever the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, it is meant for the entire humanity, not for Hindu or no, it is not applicable for Muslims. I didn't say. Ayurveda, written by Veda Vyas, is it applicable only for Hindus? There is Ayurveda, I don't know how many of you know it. Koti, I'm just trying to correlate this knowledge with the current examples. In Koti, there is one Ayurveda doctor. I think his name is Narayan Murthy also. At 4 o'clock in the morning, it opens up. And there is a big queue. And even Muslims, Christians also come. Ayurveda. You need to understand that. So that is the point what I am coming to is, so he was put and Shringi son of Samika Rishi curses Maharaj Parikshit to be killed by a snake. And coming to the topic, how they get the purity of Brahmins, how they get the purity means, one Prabhuji has said that Vakshuddhi, and main thing is the austerity they do. Can we do the kind of austerity what Brahmins do? Early morning they wake up, they do achaman, they follow the 4 regulative principles properly. 4 regulative principles: no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling. They are completely austere in nature, and that particular purity comes for them. Okay, whoever the Brahman it is, as I said, it is a varna. Even a Shudra person can become a Brahmin if you are following all these things. So that purity comes with the tapasya or the kind of austerity they take. Okay, so two reasons why King Parikshit did such act. Any idea? What are the 2 reasons? What are the 2 reasons why Parikshit Maharaj did that act?
Kalki sitting on his head.
No, still the answer is not clear. Why Kalki was sitting on his head?
He gave the option to sit it on the throne. He on the throne.
Thank you.
So he sat on the throne.
Right.
And that affects, when he was sitting on his head,
Right.
that affects his mentality.
Right. So the thing is, we need to answer why. Actually, it is said in Shastra, Parikshit Maharaj, while he was going back, after he put the dead snake, while he was going back to his kingdom back, he was thinking, how could I do this? Have you come across any situation in your life where you do something and after you regret? How could I do this? Have you faced this situation? Always. Actually, personally, in my life, I am basically a cricketer. I am a captain of my cricket team in my company, wherein I was generally I'm an all-rounder by nature. I bat and I ball also, and I was bowling, and whenever generally when I take a wicket, I'll simply go silently and just walk silently, and my team members come, we do some hi-fi and do all this, and I will be silent, but my team members would be celebrating. That's what a usual behavior, what I do. But there was one final happening, one of the tournament, one final happened, and in that final, our team was in relatively very bad situation, and opposite person, one good batsman was there. He was playing very good. And at that juncture, I bowled and I bowled him. I bowled him and I went on his face and celebrated. Yeah, hurray, hurray, hey, hey. Lot of expressions I kept. Then my other team members were thinking, "Iske kya ho gaya? Ye pagal ban gaya kya?" So like that, later I realized what, because that was a moment where that was an important match, final match, and all. Somehow I lost my cool and I behaved very vaguely, to say. So like this, even after Parikshit Maharaj being a Rajarshi who gives, lot of respect to Brahmanas, how could I do this? And being a Rajarshi, he could sense, I think Lord Krishna is planning something behind this. I think there is something great going to happen behind this event. He could sense at that time itself. So let it be. And does Parikshit Maharaj was having a capability to reverse the curse what Shringi put on him? Was Parikshit Maharaj was having a capability to reverse the curse or not? Yes or no? No, he was capable. He was capable to reverse. By the way, just for on the records, he was capable to reverse the curse of Shringi, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it because he could sense that there is something big happening. There is something big going to happen, and he never reversed it. And he has taken the curse and he was prepared. He was prepared to die, and he knows that he is hardly having 7 days time to die. And the two reasons, as I said, why King Parikshit did such act was, one, as Prabhuji said, due to the condition what Parikshit Maharaj has put, that only in gold you can stay. Kali has come on his gold and changed his attitude and ensured that this act has happened. That is one reason. And what is the second reason? Second reason is, on 19th June 2022, we have to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam. That was the reason. 1 week back, 1 month back, have you planned this? No, right? Yeah. Does Krishna know that on 19th June 2022 we are all going to sit and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam here? Does Krishna know? Yeah, yes or no? Somebody say no. Yes. Elite class, that's what I call Vihanga devotees. When yeah, that's right. Krishna knows that on 19th June 2022 we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, and for this reason that Leela was performed, because as per the nature of Parikshit Maharaj, he is not that kind of a guy where he insults a Brahmana like this. Okay, that is one reason. It was Lord's plan for Srimad Bhagavatam to descend, and Kali personified entered the mind of King kind Parikshit Maharaj through the gold throne and did the insulting act to start the Kali Yuga, and that was the event officially we can call that Kali Yuga has started. That was the point where Kali Yuga has started. Now, repentance of the curse. Now, after cursing, this also you might have come across a situation where our kid does some act, and with some appreciation, our kid goes, "Mummy, मैंने वो बच्चे को बहुत मारा पीटा, उसको मैंने जब जमीन में धकेल दिया बस." And with lot of thing, he will go to mom and says that मैंने उसे धकेल के मार दिया, with an expectation that parent would be appreciating him. And in return, what parent does? बुद्धू कहीं के करके एक थापड़ मारा. Yes or no? Have you come across that situation? No? Yes? Mothers especially? Right? Yeah. So like that, Shringi also goes to his father, Samik Rishi, saying that, "Dad, I cursed that king of the planet, I cursed, who has kept a dead snake on you." With that appreciation mode, he went and told this happy news. But Samik Rishi has, scolded him. How could you do that? It is our fault that we could not act on the response of king. King is the person who gives the shelter to the entire citizens, despite whether you are a Brahmana or not. And we didn't receive him. And how could you do that? He has been serving and saving Brahmanas. How could you do that? He chastises his son, Shringi. Okay? So Samik Rishi scolds Shringi for such foolish act of cursing Maharaja Parikshit, and Maharaja Parikshit gets the news of curse though he had the power to reverse the curse, he accepts it as a plan of God and leaves his mother Uttara and family and kingdom. Can you ever imagine in our life if really something like this happens? Something like this happens. Do we still have faith on God? Well, we'll see. We'll see. You should have. That's good to have. But having a faith when everything is going fine, is that the right testing time, or when something negative happens, that is the right testing time? There is a devotee called Bhakta Radha Swami Maharaj who has lost his leg. His leg is amputated while saving a deities of Krishna from robbers, gold deities from robbers. He has lost his leg with a bomb, in Kolkata. And he's a Ukrainian by nation. And I was fortunate enough to meet him in Stockholm. Now I was just imagining, if something like this happens, do we still have faith in God? I was trying to save Krishna deities and he lost his leg. How can Krishna behave that to me? I was trying to save his deities, and I was having an opportunity to take it out and be calm without doing any resistance. I could have been calm, right? But he lost his leg. So we need to understand. So now, one more question. If we know that we all are in the society, everyone, I know it's not a practical example, but just think of a situation where everybody in the society knows that within 2 days they are dying. How will it be? Can you imagine? 2 రోజుల్లో అందరూ మనం తను చాలిస్తామని తెలిసిందనుకోండి, ఏం జరుగుతుంది? మనం చనిపోతామని తెలిసిందనుకోండి 2 రోజుల్లో, వాట్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్? Will it not be chaos? And complete chaos, whatever the desires are there in the brain, highest crime rate would be there during those 2 days, I think. నువ్వు ఎవడు చేస్తే నాకేంట్రా భయ్, ఉన్నది ఒకటే జిందగీ, పండగ చేసుకోవాలి మనం. Right? Now if you search in Google, what are the top things we have to do before dying? What are the things we will see? Can you guess? No need to tell others, but just think, introspect ourselves. Okay, within 2 days I am dying, what will I do? Okay, so actually king was having that situation, and Maharaja Parikshit hands the kingdom to his son Janmejaya and leaves to the banks of river Yamuna. He decides to get self-realization before he dies from the best stage. This is what I was saying. When we generally, these are wrong conceptions what people have with not a proper fund of knowledge, scriptural knowledge. People think that they might appear very goody. Some people say there is just a little story I will tell. A person of 80 years old. It's not a story, by the way. It's a real story, by the way. A 80 years old person, and he was having around 55 to 60 year old kids, and he was a pakka businessman. He was very much attached to the cloth business what he was having. And he was very much, even at the age of 80 years, he was a business. You can get profits like that, profits like this, and all. He was taking strategies. At that time, Shanti. Sunil Prabhu, పిల్లల్ని కొంచెం దూరం చూస్తారు. So at that time, Vihanga kids, I had a tough time. Okay. So at that time, his sons planned that one sage comes and he tells a sage to you take my father to Kashi and tell about spirituality and self-realization and all. Take him to Kashi, and there the sage takes him and shows and everything, and he sees a log wherein a body was burnt, and after a person dies, and he was on the logs he is kept, and he was cremated. And after seeing that situation, he was crying. That old man of 80 years old, he was crying. Lot of tears in his eyes was crying. And he came back and He was sitting with his kids and he was still crying, and his kids were solacing him that don't worry, Pitaji, it is a life, it is a life cycle, it happens, अपना टाइम आएगा, सबका टाइम आएगा, मेरा टाइम आएगा, it happens with everyone and all. They were consoling his father. Then father chastises his son. अरे बुद्धू, अपन कितने बुद्धू हैं कि अपने क्लॉथ बिजनेस डाला, वी शुड हैव डन वुडन बिजनेस, देयर इज नो एंड टू इट, वुडन बिजनेस, बिकॉज इन द वुडन that cremation will be happening, right? So he was repenting that we could have done wooden business rather than cloth business, because it is evergreen, every day wood requirement is there. So that is the consciousness, that is not the consciousness with which we have to leave this body. And Parishit Maharaj, he wanted to before he dies, he wanted to get self-realized, and he dies from self-realized before he dies from the best sage. He wanted to get self-realized from the best sage, best rishi. So that should be our goal, Prabhuji and Mataji. And don't think that the self-realization is something like a hypothetical or a gallo cheppe vishal kaviri. Some people, a lot of people think that ముసలి వాళ్ళు అయ్యాకనే 60 ఏళ్ళు 65 ఏళ్ళు వచ్చాకనే మనం భగవద్గీత పట్టుకోవాలి, భాగవతం పట్టుకోవాలి. No. Prahlad Maharaj said at the age of 5 years itself, we need to introduce kids to the scriptures. Okay. Now, 2 tracks over. Okay, 2 tracks over. What is the first track? Who is Parikshit Maharaj? What is the second track? Why did he go to the banks of Ganga? Okay. Now, third track. How and why Srimad Bhagavatam descended on earth? How and why Srimad Bhagavatam descended on earth? Now, who is this personality? By the way, who is this personality whom you are seeing? Vyasa, Veda Vyasa. So Srila Vyasadeva finished compiling and writing all Vedic literatures, but he was being dissatisfied in his side, in his heart. Now, just to tell the greatness of Veda Vyasa, because we know on a higher plane, we know there is some personality, Veda Vyasa, who has written some books, that we know. But do you know how many he has written? I just want to quantify, okay, just to make you the effort what he has put in. If we take A4 size papers, A4 size paper, A4 size paper, right? Yeah. Whatever the activity what Veda Vyasa has done, if we put A4 size paper, even the earth planet would not be sufficient. All the earth planet would be covered with A4 size papers, but still it is not completed. That many scriptures he has written. When I say scriptures, Vedas, Upavedas, Puranas, Upapuranas, like that, there are a lot of explanations which are given, which it is said, it can't even have earth itself filled with A4, even it will be requiring more. So no wonder he had taken the help of whom? No wonder he has taken the help of whom? Lord Ganesha. Yes, he has requested, someone please help me in transcripting the Vedas. Then Lord Ganesha has come first. You know that story, right? Like, I don't want to dwell into that. It's another pastime. So Srila Vyasadeva have written so many Puranas, Upapuranas, and lot of things, wherein it is mentioned all these things, all these Puranas are written, and even each Puranas they are divided in the category of mode of goodness. Some Puranas are there which are meant for the people who are in Sattva Guna. Some Puranas are there which are there dealing with the people of Rajo Guna. People are there who are in Tamo Guna. There is some set of Puranas. You need to Shiv Purana. Shiv Purana is a Purana deals with the people of mode of ignorance. That's what Shiva, Lord Shiva is very merciful. Even for silly things also he gives benediction like anything. Bhasmasur, right? Bhasmasur story. Bhasmasur, he gives the benediction, but he tries to test it on Lord Shiva himself. So he is that's why he is called Bhola Shankar. बोला है, बहुत बोला है. Okay, but the thing is, we need to understand that these Puranas are also divided depending on the category of the people whom it is meant for. And Srimad Bhagavatam comes under the top one. First one is Srimad Bhagavatam. It is meant for the people who are mainly in Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna. It is something you like, in class you will be having students. Like a student who is getting 35-40% marks, will you give him a target of 90%, 95%? अरे बाबा तू पहले 50% या 60% तो ला ले, फर्स्ट क्लास से हो जा, you will target minor targets, right? Like that, these Puranas are also meant like that only. That slowly their consciousness will be getting, the intention of those Puranas are to elevate their consciousness accordingly. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedavyas said, I am feeling incomplete though I myself am fully equipped with everything required by Vedas. So, now, are you able to understand he did entire project, everything he did, he delivered to the client, and to the client he is saying, I delivered the project but I had somewhat dissatisfaction to the client. Will the client agree? Will client agree? So, he has written all the Vedas, but somehow, somewhere the dissatisfaction there. Now, who is the spiritual master of Vedavyas? Any guesses? Who is the spiritual master of Vedavyas? Who is the guru of Vedavyas? Huh? No, it's not Lord Krishna. Parashara Muni is his father. It is his father. Parashara Muni is Vedavyas' father. So anyway, Vedavyas' spiritual master is Narada Muni. Narada Muni is the spiritual master of Vedavyas. And who is the spiritual master of Narada? Huh? Brahmaji, Lord Brahmaji. And who is the spiritual master of Lord Brahmaji? Huh? Vishnu. That's right. So that is the secret. So anyway, now this when he was in similar to what Arjuna was having the confusion in Mahabharata Yuddha, even Vedavyas have come to a juncture wherein he was having this confusion and that dissatisfaction that I am not able to feel satisfied despite writing all the things. Then he goes to Narada Muni, and Narada arrived looking at his disciple's situation to guide him. And Sri Narada Muni tells Vedavyasa to write Srimad Bhagavatam. But what is the reason? Narada tells, you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. Now, to compare it with the practical example, if I ask a kid, tell about your mother. Okay. What's your good name? Shubhrat. Tell about your mother. Come. That's okay. No one will punish you. Come. Unnecessarily मैं पहले बैठा मैं बुक हो गया. Right? Yeah. Loudly tell about your mother. कुछ नहीं है क्या बताने के लिए? She always tortures you, right? That's okay. Go back. Go and sit. Okay. So when we ask someone, a kid or someone, if you ask, tell about your mother. So general definition, innocent kid, what he will say? My mother early morning she wakes up and she prepares breakfast and she will put the box in my bag and after coming she gives lunch, and even if I say no also she will dump the food in my mouth. Then night she will put dinner and we sleep again, same thing. Right? Yeah. No, वो डायलॉग नहीं मारने से लोग कुछ सोचेंगे इसलिए मारेंगे. No, I am seeing the same thing with in my house also. My kid, he is not there here, so she gives lot of fruits to him, and he ఎంత పెడతావే తల్లి చాలు, like that he curses her. Anyway, that's a different thing. So that's the mother's definition of a kid. And unfortunate situation is similar to like this. my Shiksha Guru also tells, wherein he says, a kid, we are in a situation where if we ask kid, where are you getting the milk from, everyday milk what you drink, where are you getting from? And he says that he is getting milk from fridge. Are you getting milk from fridge or not? Yes, right? We are getting milk from fridge only, right? Yes, no? Yes, right? As if I am forcing them to say yes. Yeah. So that is the situation, Sometimes, so actually the milk comes from cow. So that is the situation. I really doubt if people in the next generation, people would be even knowing that some place called village used to exist also or not. We don't know. So, coming back to the topic. So mother, so that is the definition. But the same thing, mother definition, she is a lady who is responsible for your birth, and she is the person who loves you without any expectation and without any unmotivatedly, uninterruptedly, without any expectation. She loves you. Will it be more apt than the earlier definition of mother? So that's what Narada was saying to Vedavyas, that you have written so many scriptures. Ayurveda you have written. What is Ayurveda meant for, by the way? Ayurveda meant for what? To increase your ayuhu. And do be healthy. You told. And there are some scriptures, Atharvana Veda and some other scriptures are there, how to increase your wealth. You have written some scriptures for how to increase your wealth. That also you mentioned. So like that, you have given lot of scriptures, but what is the goal? By increasing your age and healthiness, body build with six packs and all, what is the use? What is the goal? Will it guarantee that you will live forever? By getting six packs, is it a guarantee that you will live forever? Yes, you should be healthy, but what is the purpose of it? Such that if you are healthy, you can do lot of services for the Lord. There is an ample opportunity for doing services or to being situated in love of God. How you can serve the Lord? That is the purpose. You are not never mentioned about that purpose. That's what he is referring to. Which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. Doing all the project and you are going to your manager saying that, sir, I did the project, I did all the milestones, I did achieve the milestones as per the timelines specified in the project, hooray! And your manager says it is bullshit. How painful it is, right? Yes or no? Yeah. So, now that is the Srimad Bhagavatam. That was the main background of why Srimad Bhagavatam has come into the picture, where it was mentioning about goal. Actually, in India, we have a process and environment, but people are not taught about the goal. మీరు గుడికి ఎందుకు వెళ్తారండి అంటే గుడికి వెళ్ళటం మంచిది కాబట్టి. But have you ever questioned why we need to go to temple? Are we even ready to answer if my kid asks why we need to go to temple? Why the stone it's only stone, no? Why people are simply doing this puja and all to a stone? If your kid asks, what are we going to tell? Luckily, probably we are lucky that we didn't get that sort of questions. But this is something we need to introspect ourselves, That why actually in India, we have process, we have environment, but people are unaware of religion and they have been misusing religion like anything for their own benefits. I was going to, Radha Yatra is there on 1st July. I was meeting some celebrities. Luckily, lyricist Chandrabose Garu has given a, because when celebrities give a small video clips, it adds a lot of value and it glorifies us. They glorify a lot of people see and they come. That is the intention of taking their videos. But there are some actors in industry where we requested to give a small clip to encourage Radha Yatra and all. They say that, for how many minutes I have to speak? Only 45 seconds to 1 minute only you have to speak, sir. How many lakhs you are going to give me? That is the condition, that is the condition where, and one politician, I don't want to name them, but I went to press club on the other day to some major MLAs or MPs could talk about Radha Yatra and encourage people. Okay, you are taking sessions in this community. How many people are coming? 2 communities you are taking. How many people are coming? So if in your own Gachibowli satsang around 1000, 2000 would be there. Their calculation is votes. Cinema actors, their calculation is money. 35 seconds, 45 seconds. If I am speaking, how much money? 45 seconds, 1 minute, 3 lakhs of banta hai. So no boss. Even if you are giving interview or not, we are going to conduct a Radayatra. It is not that you are not giving, we are stopping it. If you are giving, your fans, so-called fans who are seeing you beat tens or hundreds of people in cinema, they will come and somehow attract and get the mercy of the Lord. That was the intention. Whether you are giving the interview or not, that's a different thing. Okay? But we need to understand, Prabhuji, in India, we are having a process and environment, but the goal is not clearly specified in the religion. Our goal is to go back home, back to Godhead, and break this chain of birth, death, disease and old age. Okay, 3 tracks over. Now 4th, yeah.
I wanted to know, according to scriptures, what was lifestyle like in those days?
Mataji,
Is it like what we see on television, Ramayana and all, they had fights of straight? Was it like that? What was like?
Mataji, in those olden days, Mataji, Vedic culture, it was very God-centric culture. Since you brought the topic, gold I have spoken, right? About gold I have spoken, Lalita jealous. And gold is really the cause of lusty, enviousness and jealous. Especially Matajis might more correlate with this. Gold, someone wears a nice gold. Hey Rama, what a wonderful jewelry you are having. From where did you bring, Ray? Very wonderful. What a minute design, wonderful, nice Ray. So, Nijanga, a particular texture Nusava, Yanta Bagundo Mida. Outside they will tell like this. Inside, ఏం చేస్తే ఇలా వచ్చిందో దీనికి చండాలం ఎట్లా ఎలా వస్తున్నాయి ఇంత డబ్బులు వీళ్ళకి మనకు ఆగితే అక్కడికి వచ్చి సావట్లా. No, have you come across this feeling comes when we discuss about gold? No, probably, but in villages, right, where they have seen the utter poverty and all, when someone takes a gold, this is generally that enviousness comes, and gold is the cause. Gold is the reason. But in earlier, in the Vedic civilization also, Matajis used to purchase gold, but the center of purchasing the gold was to decorate the deity in their house. They used to decorate the deity in the house. If there is more gold, they used to take a bigger deity. And they used to find happiness in decorating the deity in the house. In each and every house, there used to be a deity in the Vedic civilization. Each and every house, whether you are a Brahmana or not. And even when I was a kid of say his age or what, we used to have a hut, and in that hut every 2-3 days, after every 2-3 days, my mother and my auntie, both of them, they used to with a cow dung they used to wash the floor. Because now the kids, they will not know, they are not even exposed to the villages. They leave about other kids, my own kids. Daddy, come on daddy, village ga malli, no, 1 or 2 days, ఎన్ని రోజులు ఉంటాము, 1 or 2 days, daddy please daddy, there is no movie there is no mosquitoes are there, I can't stay there, my friends are there, I can't leave my friends, rarely we get an opportunity to speak to my friends and spend time with my friends, so I can't go to village. That's the comments what my kids say, but somehow I'm dragging them. I think she's not come, right? She's there, yeah, luckily I think she's this is the satsang is the very opportunity where I can curse my kids openly. So that's the thing, villages, and they used to do. And I'm just, since Mataji asked, we used to have a yearly activity in village. 2 months summer vacation, we used to, as a kids, we used to stay in villages, and whole 1 year, whatever the cow dung would be there, that cow dung used to be we used to put in a common place. एक होल बनाते थे, होल में पूरा cow dung डालते थे. तेलुगु लो दिब्बा अंटाరు దాన్ని. I don't know how many of you know Telugu. So that was the cow dung for the entire year was poured in a small, it is like a biodegradable gas kind of thing, a small hole they used to keep it, and after 1 year, complete that forms a big heap. It's like a fertilizer, and we, after 1 year, once we go to the summer vacation, we all as a family, our family, my parents, my kids, we 4, my uncle's family, they 4, 8, my grandfather and grandmother, 10. Total 10 of us, we used to dig that, take it in a bullock cart, and put a small heaps in the field, and I think we are having 7 to 8 fields, 8 fields we are having. So we used to keep the small heaps, and we used to sprinkle that Then we didn't used to use any utilizer. What do we say, utilizers or fertilizers? Sorry, fertilizers. We never used to use any fertilizers. We used to use this cow dung and sprinkle it across the field. We used to do that. And that's a family activity. That is a family activity. And very fields cutting also, we used to do it as a family. And before doing it, we used to pray to the Lord. And as I still remember, when I was in 4th class, they used to, we are having a oranges field, wherein my grandpa, I don't know, somehow he feels that I am a good luck charm for him. So he used to take me, and before actually drilling, there is a bore well would be, we have to put it. And before doing that, he has taken a nimbu, and he told me to put it back, and wherever it drops, there we have to drill the bore well. And before doing that, we used to pray to the Lord Vishnu, that Lord Vishnu, please, whatever the fields are there, let us please ensure that they are prospered properly, and we are able to serve you in whatever way we could to the best of our ability. Please, thoda pani dila do. And luckily, I don't know, it's not that we are great and all, and luckily in and around like that, a lot of bores were kept. All the bore wells are dried off, but our bore well is still there. It is when I was in 4th class, that means approximately in 1989, yes, 1989, still we are getting water. But other bore wells, they are dried up. Always whatever the act used to be there, Mataji, everything it was related to Lord. And tractors have spoiled the culture to some extent. Not to some extent, they have spoiled the culture. After tractors came, fertilizers have come. Otherwise, earlier only ox, they used to plow the field, and parallelly they used to cow dung and urine and all, it used to do when the act was going on. So fertilizers were never used. Many people are not realizing it now, but they will realize that invention. Wow, tractor, wonderful, easy. No, one day we will realize. It is said in scriptures. In the interest of time, it is said in scriptures. There will be a situation in Kali Yuga where even if you sow a seed at the banks of a river, it will not grow. It will not grow, and it might be very sorry to listen to say this. In Bhavishya Puran, it is said that people would be getting kids to eat them. Because there won't be any food, grains won't be there. That is said in Bhavishya Puran. I know it's very pessimistic to see all and all, and we are at a phase, actually, first 10,000 years of Kali Yuga are expected to be a golden period of Kali Yuga. Any idea how many years of Kali Yuga have passed? Any idea? How many years of Kali Yuga have passed? 5,262 years to be precise. 5,262 years to be precise. Now, still we are having, already you are seeing Kali Yuga progression, right? 40, leave about 40, 50 to 60 years back, you ask your I think kids might not be knowing it, you ask your grandparents around 1950s or 1960s that, and I think there are some elders also where, had you told that in another 30 to 40 years, water would be sold, they would have laughed at you. And have you told there will be hotels where we have to pay and eat, they would have laughed at you, because there are never hotels and restaurants before 1960. Medical, a hospital, we have to pay and see, it is mentioned in even Bhagavatam that wherever this education, food and medicine, health are charged for a cost, then deterioration will be happening very soon. Already we are in education, it was a free commodity education, but now we are paying lakhs and lakhs of education without any, when people are taught how to earn money, how to exploit others, that's the reality, whether you accept it or not. Anyway, I think we are losing track, but that's a brief answer, Mataji. I don't know whether I answered you or not, but I can go on this topic alone for 2 to 3 hours, but in the interest of time, I'm not going. So we are into track 4. How many tracks over? 3. What is the first track? What is the second track? What is the third track? Why Srimad Bhagavatam descended in earth? Fourth track. Who is Srila Sukadeva Goswami? Who is he? Any guesses? Have you heard of this name? No? Okay. Srila Sukadeva Goswami is the son of Vedavyas. He is the son of Vedavyas. And originally, do you know his identity? Who is he originally? I mean, when I say originally, you know, Krishna is there in Vaikuntha Lokas. But when he comes to the material world, he will be in material world for almost 125 years. Similarly, there will be identity for some people. Actually, Sukadeva Goswami originally was a parrot of Radharani. In the spiritual world, he is a parrot of Radharani, pet of Radharani. And how does parrot sound? Right? So very sweet, right? Very sweet, right? How does parrot sound? बोलो. आगे वाले को भी पकड़ रहे हो, पीछे वाले को भी पकड़ रहे हो, ये क्या है प्रभु बोल रहे हो क्या? How does parrot sound? आप ही को पूछ रहा हूँ. Kid. हाँ, you only. How? Right. He was right actually. That's right. So its voice is very sweet, right? Has anyone touched parrot here? Touched parrot, right? Very nice. Yeah. Now, has anyone eaten the fruit bitten by parrot? Right. Now one more. Has anyone eaten the fruit bitten by parrot by going to the same tree on the same stem and eating on that stem itself?
I have plucked it out, but I didn't eat it on the
नहीं, तभी मजा आएगा. Now I will tell myself. I went on top of the tree and I was observing that parrot was biting the fruit, and after some time after it has bitten, I went to that stem and plucked it, and I plucked it and eaten it on the tree itself. I didn't wait till I come down also.
some fruits that parrot eat are like they're sweet and they're right.
Yes, you are right. That's right. Now, this parrot, this parrot, as I said, it was a Srila Sukadeva Goswami was a parrot in the spiritual world who descended to this planet to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. When a ripened fruit like Srimad Bhagavatam comes from the sweet mouth of parrot like Shuka, it becomes more nectarian. That was the purpose of why Sukha was chosen. Because, I don't know, it was a very advanced topic to say, okay? Just hear to it. I know it's not it is discussed in a forum where very senior devotees are there. But we need to understand that we have our own Swarupa. We each and every one of us, we say we have to plan for going back home, back to Godhead. So in that statement there is a meaning that we actually belong to some place and we came back here and we have to go back home. So in that planet or Vaikuntha Loka, each and every one of us will be having a Swarupa. Some entity. You can't be a same human being. I can be a fruit. Anyway, that's a very advanced topic, but we need to understand. But the Sukadeva Goswami Sarupa was, in the spiritual world, it was a parrot of Radharani. So, he was chosen. Now, Srila Vyasadeva, can you tell me what? Another question for everyone. What is the beautiful thing a husband and wife discuss? What is the most beautiful thing a husband and wife discuss? Why no noise? कुछ तो बोलो. Speaking about children. Anything else? Holiday. अरे इस holiday में कहाँ जाना है? Okay, yeah, that's also right. Yeah. About? About kids' success, okay. Kids planning, yeah, that's good. Yeah, these are the good discussions. Yes, it is good. But to tell you one thing, there is one more entity or one more, probably it's a new perspective a husband and wife can discuss. And I have seen personally devotees, where they discussing about Srimad Bhagavatam, discussing about Katha of Srimad Bhagavatam. ఎందుకు కృష్ణుడు అలా చేయించాడు, అశ్వత్థామని అది ద్రోణాచార్యని పడేయడానికి ఇంత నెగిటివ్ చేశాడు, ఎథికల్గా రాంగ్ కదా, ఎందుకు ఇలా చేస్తుంటాడు, ఎందుకు ఇలా చేయాలి? ఈవెన్ దట్ డిస్కషన్ ఇస్ ఆల్సో వండర్ఫుల్ డిస్కషన్. Discussing about Bhagavad Gita, discussing about scripture among the husband and wife itself. When we are keeping Krishna in the center, that's the ultimate. Even if you are fighting, Krishna, ఏం చేస్తే నువ్వు, bring Krishna. Even if you are cursing your husband or wife, then also bring Krishna. Krishna, ఏం చేసావురా నువ్వు, ఇంత కష్టపడి చేసిందంతా పోగొట్టావు కదరా. Even we devotees also sometimes, we try to, we also get some disputes. హరిబోల్ ఏం చేశారా నేనా, తీ we curse, but we bring Krishna. So somehow we need to ensure that Krishna is brought into our life in any manner, in any situation. The devotee find a reason to bring Krishna in the center. No, I am not a devotee, I am just trying to be a devotee, but we try to bring Krishna in the center in each and everything. So anyway, coming back to the topic, Srila Vyasadeva recited Srimad Bhagavatam when his wife was conceived. When Srila Sukadeva Goswami was in her womb, they were discussing about Bhagavatam. Today I wrote this, Ganesh ji has written this, these many cantos we have written. Like that he was explaining his wife, good wife. And Srila Sukadeva Goswami was in her womb and he was listening all this Srimad Bhagavatam while he was reciting. And Srila Sukadeva Goswami, when he was there in his womb, generally how much time a kid stays in womb? 9 months. But Srila Sukadeva Goswami didn't stay for 9 months and he didn't want to come out at all. Why? Any idea why he didn't want to come out of the womb? किस लिए वो बाहर नहीं आना चाहता था? He feared the outside world, yes. Because, actually one Prabhuji, when I was giving a session in ISKCON Habits, one Prabhuji was asking, Prabhuji, see, I'm coming from a background where my complete family, they kill and they eat and all they do. I'm from that background, so how I can practice into spiritual stuff and all, he was saying. Then I said, Prabhuji, whatever the background you are coming from, Prabhu, Krishna, whether you are there in Uganda, also Krishna gives an opportunity for every human entity to self-realize. If you are not able to exercise your free will, then don't blame God for that. Why do bad things happen to good people like me? God, why you didn't do that? Did do that? Don't blame God. Krishna promises even a person who is there in Uganda where they are suffering with hunger. Even it's not only Krishna consciousness, even it can be Christianity, any religion, but he gives an opportunity for each and every living entity. If you are not taking the opportunity and trying to realize, then don't blame God. Don't blame God. Okay? Anyway, coming back to the topic. So, he didn't come out of the womb. How many years it has taken? Any guesses? 1 year he didn't come. 2 years he didn't come. Because he was afraid that if he comes out, immediately modes of material nature, family bondage, everything come into the picture, and again I will be roaming around in this material world. With that concern, he didn't want to come out. He didn't want to come out. So like that, for almost 16 years, he stayed in mother's womb. Can you imagine? Mataji is putting your expression, 16 years? Yes, 16 years. Okay. So he was hearing the dualities of the material world caused by 3 modes of material nature. Sukadeva Goswami refused to come out of for 16 years. Then his Pitaji, Rara baitiki mi talli ibbandi padutundra, Rara, come out of, your mother is struggling, please come out. He was begging. And finally he has taken the shelter of Krishna, asking Krishna, please help me. Then Krishna comes and he tells him that okay, he gives a benediction that okay, you come out, modes of material nature would not impact you, and he is the only personality in whole earth who didn't get impacted with modes of material nature, by the way. Okay, so with that promise taken from Krishna, then he agrees to come out, and immediately after he comes out, how a skin of a baby would be there, newborn baby, kuchu kuchu, chiku chiku, how soft, how cute, right? So like that, a 16 years boy, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, when he came out of mother's home, he straight away walked out of his home. Arey Nana ni ippude kanna, mother father no, straight away walked off and walking towards forest. Okay. So like this, Sukadeva Goswami walked into the forest right out of the womb, and again it's a common people could not understand the state of consciousness of Sukadeva Goswami, because a mad person also walks nakedly. Mad person also walks nakedly. But even Sukadeva Goswami is also walking naked, and for a general materialistic people, they will not understand. They will obviously make fun of him. Okay, so again, see, he is already a self-realized soul, and already material modes of material nature are not acting on him. So he wanted to ensure that, and anyway, so that's how he walks around. In the interest of time, he walks around like this, and there is a small comment, coming to the self-realized people, there is a Bahudaka, Kutichaka, Parivrajaka, Acharya, Paramahamsa. Have you heard of these terms? Any of the terms? Bahudaka, Kutichaka, Parivrajaka, Acharya and Paramahamsa. Have you heard? Yes or no? अगर नहीं है तो नहीं बोलो, कुछ भी पता है तो पता भी बोलो. नाम सुना है? हाँ? परमहंस सुना है. परमहंस का मीनिंग क्या है? अननेसेसरली मैं बोली, ये बोलती नहीं तो मैं ये प्रश्न पूछता ही नहीं. Anyway, so these are the four levels. Okay. Bahudaka means a person who is trying to get self-realized within a same home, in a corner of a house. చూస్తాం కదా మనం కొంతమంది they will be sitting in a corner of house and simply chanting the names of the lords, and they will try to read scriptures by sitting in a corner of a house, and they try to get self-realized by sitting in a corner of a house. Those are the devotees called Bahudaka. Kutichaka means he goes out of the house, somewhere in the same town he will be having a separate house or some separate kutir, and he does this same act. Parivrajaka Acharya is the person who propagates the knowledge of the God across the planet. He is called Parivrajaka Acharya. Srila Prabhupada, Chinnajiyar Swami, all these are Parivrajaka Acharya. Chinnajiyar Swami comes under Sri Sampradaya, and this is the temple which is built under Sri Sampradaya. Bhakta Prahalada Lakshmi Narsimha Swami temple is built under Sri Sampradaya. Chinnajiyar Swami Varu comes under Sri Sampradaya. Whatever the God's knowledge, we need to hear this under Sampradayas only. How many Sampradayas are there? Any idea how many Sampradayas are there? Any idea? Yes, not a problem. कुछ भी मालूम है तो चलेगा. 4 Sampradayas are there. Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya. This temple is built by Chinnajiyar Swami, who comes under the disciplinic succession of Sri Sampradaya. We, Mahesh, and I belong to Brahma Sampradaya. Srila Prabhupada and all these Acharyas, great Acharyas, there are Brahma Sampradaya. Like that, actually Brahma Sampradaya and Sri Sampradaya are more popular in South India. But in North, Rudra Sampradaya and Kumara Sampradaya are also there. So like this, self-realized souls are there in what we say so like this, he is roaming around, and you are seeing that this, right? There is some great Leela is going to happen, and now we are in the 5th track. What were the questions of Parikshit Maharaj? Once again, repeat. Second, yeah, that's right. Third, why did Srimad Bhagavatam descend on earth? Fourth, who is Srila Sukadeva Goswami? Okay. 5th is this. What were the questions of Parikshit Maharaj? See, Parikshit Maharaj asked Brahmanas his questions. And listen carefully, these questions, these are very important and is applicable for each and every one of us. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both transcendental and mundane worlds. Before I go, ये बंदा कौन है यार, बार बार ट्रांसेंडेंटल बोल रहा है, क्या है मीनिंग ट्रांसेंडेंटल बोले तो? What is the meaning of transcendental? Huh? Yeah. Anything else? Anything else? Transcendental means beyond space and time. Beyond space and time. Okay? So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of Brahmana's curse. Due to my being too much attached to the family life, the Lord, in order to save me, has appeared before me in such a way that only out of fear I will detach myself from the world. Next, O trustworthy Brahmanas, he was sitting around all the Brahmanas. I now ask you about my immediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me of the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances, and specifically of those who are just about to die. What are the duties? That's what Parikshit Maharaj was asking with the sages who are there at the banks of Ganges. Now, this news of Parikshit Maharaj went like a forest fire across all the lokas. Devatas, Lord Shiva, Brahma, everyone came. I think they were sensing something big is going to happen. And they also came and located at the same place where Parikshit Maharaj was there, at the banks of Ganges. So like this, these are the different personalities who have been there. So there were also many other saintly demigods, kings and special royal orders called Arunodayas, a special rank of Rajarshis from different dynasties of sages. When they all assembled together to meet the emperor, and he received them properly and bowed his head to the ground. So now he was waiting for the response from sages that who would be able to give this knowledge to me, because I am about to die in 7 days time. Please tell me who can give the knowledge. And they were discussing, we all sages are affected with the modes of material nature, so there should be someone who is not affected with the modes of material nature should give this knowledge to you. So at that juncture, Srila Sukadeva Goswami comes and they point that he is the person who would be able to give that knowledge to you. So please listen to him. Okay, so with that begging mode, he was inquiring. Prabhuji and Mataji, actually somewhere we should have that inquisitiveness and questions to ask. Most of the questions now, most of the people who generally comes to these spiritual sessions, 50% of them only they come to just revalidate their understanding. But actually, so for only revalidation they come, but we need to understand that we should have inquisitiveness to understand the spiritual topics. And scriptures it is mentioned there are 3 conditions. First is you should desperate to know the answer. But are we really desperate? First condition when you wanted to get a spiritual knowledge, first condition is we should be desperate enough to know the knowledge. What question we have? Scripturally, what is right? Do I need to know the answer for sure at any cost? That is a desperateness we should have. That is what is explained. Number 1. Number 2, we should have respect to the person from whom you are receiving the knowledge. That is the second parameter. Third parameter is you should be thankful to the Lord Krishna for arranging that situation. In that mode, you will understand and you will really take the essence of the answer what you are seeking. But we need to introspect within ourselves that how serious are we? Is it really important? When Mataji was saying, Prabhuji, luckily I don't know why she has come to session. I have no problem in life, Prabhuji. My husband is earning good tons of money. My kids are toppers in class. I go to kitty parties. I enjoy a lot. What is there in a problem for me? Why do I really require spirituality? Do I really require spirituality? I didn't say anything to her. I just told at least it will make you a better person than currently you are. Because now उसके लिए अगर बताना है तो एक दो तीन घंटे बैठना है. That patience I doubted whether someone would be having it, but I told her that at least it will make you a better person than you are without any iota of doubt. We should be very serious about our spiritual inquiry. And in that mode, that's why it is said, Tadvidi Pranipatena, Paiprashnena Sevaya, Upadekshanti Te Gnanam, Gnaninas, Tattva Darshina. In that mode, Parikshit Maharaj was asking, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. But today's media, with the kind of scams happening, people wearing saffron cloths, people have lost the faith on spirituality. And India is the only country which can give the answer for the whole world why we have taken birth. No other country can give that answer. That is why India is called spiritual capital of world. Is it making sense, Prabhuji Mataji? Are you with me? Now, Sri Parikshit Maharaj asked the two questions which form the basis of Bhagavatam to be spoken. You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons and especially for the one who is about to die. Actually, are we really having a faith that a person who is about to die, can I really follow? I have seen some devotees even in Vihanga, Prabhuji, I don't want to name them, that they come every day. They read shlokas in front of the, I don't know whether you noticed that or not. I see, even a couple of days I observed one grandfather and granddaughter, I think. Both of them come. They do chanting together half an hour or so in front of Bhakta Prahalada Lakshmi Narasimha Swami temple. Material knowledge is not the one, Prabhuji Mataji. Spiritual, I don't mean that we should discourage kids to read material knowledge. It is only secondary, but we should inculcate spiritual values. In life, each one of us, without any doubt, will be facing a situation where we realize that for a material problem, material solution will bring only bigger material problem. I repeat, a material problem trying to solve with a material solution will bring bigger material problem. That's why for a material problem we need to think spiritual solution. And giving an example, I can go on, but in the interest of time I am not going. But we need to understand that Sri Parikshit Maharaj asked these questions with Sukadeva Goswami. And please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember and worship, and also what he should not do. Please explain all this to me. Please explain all this to me. That's what he asked. Next, the fortunate King Parikshit, inquiring further, said, "O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed." Do you know what is the answer, by the way? Answer, any guesses? Answer? Let us give the opportunity. Okay. Now the thing is, how many yugas are there, by the way? How many yugas? What are they? Satyuga, Treta Yuga. What was the process defined? What was the process defined in Satyuga to realize God and go back home, back to Godhead? What is the process defined in Satyuga? No. What is the process defined? As per scriptures, what was the process defined in Satyuga to self-realize and go back home, back to Godhead? The process was meditation on Vishnu. Meditation on Vishnu was the process defined in Satyuga. Second, in Treta Yuga, what was the process defined to self-realize and go back home, back to Godhead? No, probably try to understand Prabhuji Mataji. It's something like cricket. I think everyone played cricket, right, in your lifetime, once or twice, right? In 1980s, cricket, one day cricket means first 5 years took karma. So, I have seen scenario where Sunil Gavaskar and Krishnamacharya Srikanth, first 5 overs they to lose the shine of the ball, they used to only defense and make the ballers tired. First 5 overs, even in one days also, not talking about test match. Now there after 1 decade, thoda aggression shuru hua. Now their new policy change hua कि power plays they have introduced. Then first 10 overs aggression start hua. Now they come 2020s where more aggression. Now recently England, yesterday I was hearing to one comment, England is playing tests like 1 days, and 1 day they are playing like 2020s and like that. So each and every decade there is a change in cricket style of playing, right? Similarly, for each yuga there is a separate process for realize God and go back. In Satyuga the process was to meditate on the lotus feet of Vishnu and go back home, back to Godhead. And in Treta Yuga what was the process? Any guesses? Yajna. Yes. In Treta Yuga the yajna was a process. Doing yajnas and realize and go back home, back to Godhead. In Dwapar Yuga what is the process? Dwapar Yuga what is the process? Any guesses? कुछ नहीं, कुछ punishment नहीं मिलेगा. Dwapar Yuga what is the process? Dwapar Yuga the process is deity worship. Dwapar Yuga the process is deity worship. Deity worship is the process. We have to worship the deity and release and go back home, back to Godhead. Okay. Now in Kali Yuga what is the process? Harinama. Harer namaiva kevalam kalau nastaiva gataranyata. Why there is 3 times? Harer namaiva kevalam kalau nastaiva gatiranyata. Why 3 times? Because sages know in Kali Yuga memory chippu దొరుకుతుందని మనం ఆయనకి వాళ్ళకి తెలుసు, వీళ్ళు గుర్తుండదు. దట్స్ వై ఇన్ పెళ్ళి, ఇన్ మ్యారేజెస్ ఆల్సో, ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఇన్ ద మిడ్ నైట్ మ్యారేజెస్, తాలిగట్టు నాయనా ఐ కట్టింగ్ తాలిం. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ మెన్షన్ దట్ చాంటింగ్ ద హోలీ నేమ్స్ ఈజ్ ద ప్రాసెస్ ఇన్ ద కలియుగ. అందుకనే హరిర్నామ కేవలం, హరిర్నామం ఈజ్ ద ఓన్లీ process in Kali Yuga, easy process to realize. And luckily the benediction in Kali Yuga is, if you think negatively about others, you won't incur any negative karma. In earlier yugas you are having that, if you think negatively also negative karma you will be getting, but it doesn't give a license for you to think negatively. So the thing is, Kali Yuga is that benediction is very useful. So kindly chant the names of Lord. That is the process prescribed in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so these are the holy names. Now coming to the contents of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are, as I said, Srimad Bhagavatam is not the same as Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavatam is having, any guesses? How many shlokas are there in Srimad Bhagavatam? 1 lakh. No. మీరు ఏకంగా పెద్ద పిక్చర్ ఇచ్చేసారు. కాదు, ఇట్ ఇస్ నాట్ 1 lakh. 18,000 shlokas are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so 18,000 shlokas are divided into 12 cantos. 12 పర్వాలుగా విభజించబడినది. 12 పర్వాలు. So for first parva is creation where there are lot of these are the 19 chapters what we have in first canto, wherein we will be seeing how Sri Narada appeared. Do you know the Narada story? By the way, what is the meaning of Narada? Any guesses? చదువులు పెట్టడమే. అది ప్రభు, అది మనకు సినిమాలు మీడియా నేర్పించింది, మీరు చెప్పింది అది అక్షరాల తప్పది. For the people who are not understanding Telugu, Prabhuji was saying Narada's duty is to put quarrel between 2 people. That is the picture what media or pictures have been showing, but it is utter wrong. No. Narada meaning, in the interest of time, Narada meaning is actually the word means to give. to bless or to give. The word means, whether it is masculine or feminine gender, da means to give or bestow something. And one who bestows Narayana is Narada. Nara plus da. Narada. Who bestows Narayana to others is Narada. Similarly, Yashoda, who gives yash, fame to everyone, Yashoda. So, that's about Narada, and we see actually Narada was not a Narada from birth. Previously, he was a son of a maid servant. How many of them you know this? He was a son of a maid servant. Do you know that? Yeah, if you wanted to know the history of Narada, how he appeared, the appearance of Sri Narada and all, it is given in this. How he appeared, what was his past life, and everything it is given here. And like this, there are a lot of other chapters wherein disappearance of Lord Krishna, how Parikshit received the age of Kali and all, it is given in first canto. Now, second canto, the cosmic manifestation, Big Bang theory, and Darwin's theory. That is the basis as per our material studies. CBSE and ICSE. Is that true? Does our logical brain accepts that some explosion happened and a beautiful planets and these planets have formed? Huh? But you have to write that false and get the marks. Okay, it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam second canto, cosmic manifestation, the first step in God realization, and they have given the process of creation. There are a lot of Brahmandas are there, and each and every Brahmanda there will be a Vishnu allotted. Like this it is given. Like this in third canto we are having almost 33 chapters, and a lot of pastimes are given. Even Dhritarashtra, about Dhritarashtra, even after his sons got killed, he stayed with his Pandavas, and Vidura came and chastised him. ఏమైనా సిగ్గు సరం ఉందా నీకు? పిల్లలు ఎవరైతే పిల్లల్ని ఎవరి నుంచి పోవడం వాళ్ళ ఇళ్ళకు ఎలా ఉండగలవు? How you can stay at a family's place where they have killed your children? And he chastised and got him realization and went back. That is mentioned. And like this, there are a lot of chapters conveying this. Now coming to another 5 to 10 minutes. We will wrap up. Sorry, Prabhuji. No, actually. If you don't, yeah. So one person, you can no need to hold that. You can hold the rod itself, below rod. Yeah. Sorry, please. So like this, who is the primary creator? By the way, who is the primary creator? Huh? Vishnu. Vishnu is the primary creator. Who is the secondary creator? Brahma. Brahma is the secondary creator. Who is the tertiary creator? It is something like an organization, okay? It is something like an organization. CEO delegates it to COO, CFO, HR head probably, and after that again some managers would be there. Again some things are delegated to them. Like this, even here, the creation, even Brahma also delegates it to Manus and all. And like this fourth order, the creation of fourth order it is given. How many species are there, by the way, in the world? How many species are there? Total species. Okay. Humans, how many species of humans are there? We all are one species. We all are one species. Like that, how many species of humans are there? 4 lakh species are there. 4 lakh human species are there. This won't be taught in CBSE and ICSE, by the way. Don't get surprised. Now, Hanuman is second kind of human species, and that human species name is Kimnara. That is the second kind of human. Like this, we are having total number of species is 4 lakh human species are there, and only in this 4 lakh human species would be having a capacity or ability to self-realize God. Another 80 lakhs comprises of birds, reptiles, carnivores and everything. Okay, like this. And again, creative impetus. This is the 5th canto, wherein again they have given a lot of other 26 chapters wherein they are talking about hellish planets. How the hellish planets look. Do you know one of the highest sins is by kicking cow. Kicking cow. This punishment is, this particular thing is not applicable for any other animal, but only for cow. If you kick, that is graver punishment than killing a brahmana. So that's a kind of introduction of hellish planets in the Canto 5. Next, Canto 6 describes about prescribed duties for mankind. Now, have you heard of term Manu Samhita? Right? Now, in Manu Samhita, there is a prescribed duties of Brahmana, Shudra and all. I was just trying to see in which category I belong. And I just started with Shudra. Shudra, do you know the one primary quality? Any guesses? What is the primary quality or one best quality of Shudra? Any guesses? Shudra never leaves his employer. He is always dedicated to one employer. I already shifted 3 employees. Network Solutions, IBM company, Infosys and now TCS. So I felt that I am more worse than Shudra, and then I stopped reading, but better not to read. Like this, there are prescribed duties of mankind. There are some 19 chapters there in this 6th canto. Like that, 7th canto, Science of God. In the Science of God, Prahlad Maharaj comes. Prahlad Maharaj comes, and there is stories of Prahlad Maharaj and the Leelas of Narsimha Bhagwan comes in this 7th canto. 8th canto, Withdrawal of Cosmic Creations. So here we have this Mantana Leela, battle between demigods and demons. All this comes in 8th canto. 9th canto, Liberation, where we have 24 chapters. 10th canto, Samam Bonam. Here it is, by the way, is it raining, Prabhu? So Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that actually I was afraid that today it will be very hot due to summer. Last time I think kids had a tough time, it was very hot. But today it is a other 180 degrees angle. Okay, that's good. Chavi, silent please. So Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to Lord Krishna himself, and the first canto is compared to his lotus feet, and the 10th canto is compared to his lotus face. And here almost 76 chapters are there, where all Krishna's pastimes, including birth till he leaves, is given here. 11th chapter, General History, where Maharaja Nimi meets 9 Yogendras and all. It is the person who is not having any interest in spirituality, it is the best canto to be read. 12th canto, the age of deterioration. Here is the thing where finally snake bites Parishit Maharaj and takes. So this is about contents of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are having glories of Srimad Bhagavatam also. Srimad Bhagavatam is written in almost 108 languages. 108 languages. So try to understand that it is not a Hindu scripture. It is not a, generally people are having a notion that it is a Hindu scripture. It is meant for the entire humanity. In our society, there are devotees who are coming from a Christian background and Islam background as well. So kindly let us not propagate that it is a Hindu scripture. It is meant for the entire humanity. Okay? So 18,000. So even if you read 10 pages per day, 15 to 20 minutes, we can finish Bhagavatam in 5 years. So it is called Amala Puran because it deals with the universal questions and highest answers. When, as per our CBSE syllabus, when it was decided that Earth is round, how many years back? Any idea? As per our CBSE syllabus, when it was decided that Earth is round? Please. Yeah. Huh? No, in first grade your class okay. In your class okay. But how many years back? It was known that Earth is round. 5 years back, huh? No. Actually, it is around 300 to 400 years back. I think it was Aristotle, if I am not wrong. Aristotle was chased to death for saying that earth is round. Everyone was in the impression that earth is flat. And Aristotle was saying that it is round. But in Bhagavatam, almost lakhs of years before, it was mentioned that earth is round. Bhu gol. It was mentioned in Bhagavatam. Yes, it is. And in the interest of time, I am not saying. Actually, I mentioned this in the SSR sessions. Dhritarashtra was blind, right? Dhritarashtra was blind. Then Dhritarashtra asked his personal assistant Sanjaya. Sanjaya is not able to visualize how earth looks. Then Sanjaya says that earth looks something like, that picture is not there. Probably I will show it to you at a later time. He describes that there are two leaves where it is trying to be eaten up by two rabbits, and when you are seeing that picture reversed in a mirror, it looks like a whole world. Let me show you, since you asked it. Okay, I will show it to you separately. Probably I will post it in the group. It is compared to that. For what is your father's name? Is he there in the group? Okay. What's your mother's name? Huh? Sangeeta. I will post it that. I will post that conversation between Sanjay and Dhritarashtra. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam is a spotless Purana. It is most dear to Vaishnavas because it is describes the pure and supreme knowledge of the Paramahamsas. The Bhagavatam reveals the means for becoming free from all material work, together with the process of transcendental knowledge, renunciation and devotion. Anyone who seriously tries to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, who properly hears and chants it with devotion, becomes completely liberated. Okay, I think total havoc. You can come here actually. It's almost over. In another 5-10 minutes we are getting this closed. Okay. Okay, this is the last slide what I am going to have. So my kids, all kids keep quiet. All kids keep quiet. Okay. In another 5 minutes we are closing it. Probably it kucho. So I request each and every family who are there here, who doesn't have a Srimad Bhagavatam in their house, kindly take one Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you are already having a Srimad Bhagavatam in your home, you can donate it to poor Brahmins who are not able to afford. It costs around 6,000 to 7,000 depending on the language. And more than taking a Srimad Bhagavatam, I request to take this Srimad Bhagavatam from a pure devotee like His Grace Radhesham Prabhuji. Have you heard of this name? Radhesham Prabhu. He is a IIT topper. And he is a president of ISKCON temple in Mumbai. And he travels across the world to propagate the knowledge of God in universities like Oxford, Yale, and so many other renowned universities. So I request everyone to take signed copy from him, he naming you and taking from his lotus hands. So that would be a better icing on the cake. So I request everyone to grab one Srimad Bhagavatam in your house. And I request if anyone can come forward to volunteer to collect the money and take the names who are interested to take Srimad Bhagavatam in Vihanga. Is anyone interested to come forward? I prefer to take someone elder coming forward. మీ అమ్మ చెయ్యి ఎత్తిచ్చు. Yeah. You can close. You can close.
And there is a set which is available.
If you wanted to have a quick glance, you can Prabhuji, switch off the projector. So one set also is present. Put it here. So I request, if you are not don't think because